good night for Team Roufusport.
Oh, yeah.
That was damn. So what do you think of your performance in there?
Man, just happy to get a finish again, man. My God, that feels so much better than going 3 full rounds with the guy. And I really do attribute it to switching things up. Not that I didn't have great guys, and in Nick Catone, I'm still really close to those guys, and Ricardo and all the guys back home. But Brian Butler and Sucker Punch, they took me in and they were like, look, you got to go to a camp that's about you, man. And ever since I took a trip out to Roufusport, it's immediately what I felt. I actually felt it after having an hour-long conversation with Duke, and man, that's my home. Those guys took me in. Those boys trained my ass off, and I can't thank them enough. Even Mike Biggie Rhodes was in my corner because we couldn't get some of the other guys over, whether they had scheduling issues or visa issues with the Daniel Vanderlei from Brazil. And he just stepped up, and he was a great corner this whole week.
That's awesome. And I mean, it seems like the really beginning at the end was the inside elbow up there. Was that something that you thought, as you were preparing for this fight, he would be open to?
I was doing it in the back room the entire time warming up. Almost hit Duke in the face. Almost probably dropped him about 3 times throughout the week, throwing combos on the pads. And that was the secret. That was the recipe, the sauce, man. Is Duke. The way he trains is not just crushing pads. I used to just crush pads, and it was great to get me in shape. But now I'm hitting things, and it's almost like sparring with pads. And it's his old school Thai style and the way he works, man. He's lived with the Thais and all these guys, and he knew how Ricci's style was going to be, and we game planned perfectly for it.
Yeah, and it didn't really seem like he had you in trouble at any point in the fight, but coming in it was all about striker versus striker. Yeah. He obviously thought he was better on there. Did you think in the back of your head, like, this guy isn't going to be able to hang with me in there? Like, the narrative going into this fight that people are putting on is just wrong?
Oh yeah, no, you always get those butterflies, man. I think Brian Butler got to see it for the first time, and Duke, and I'm a maniac backstage. I'm confident 1 minute, then I'm about to cry another minute, and I keep it together on the surface, but inside it's just like, this guy's better than you. Why are you even going to go out there? He's going to knock you out. And then once my feet hit that canvas and we start punching, let's go.
Drastically different performance than the last time you were in this arena, right?
Yeah, I was nervous as hell. Couldn't let anything go. The crowd hated me. I was like, this time they're shaking. I felt like I got more love in this crowd than Alex did, and that's why I was trying to amp them up at the end. It's like, Halifax, I love you. I'm 2-0 in Halifax. Let's keep bringing the card back here, and I'll keep fighting in Canada.
Yeah, I mean, so you're obviously feeling very good. First round finish. What do you do after a win like this? Like, how do you move forward in terms of fighting guys? You just fought someone who was 0-1 in the UFC. I'm sure you want someone a little more proven.
Yeah, well, I think that's the whole thing. Is taking absolutely nothing against Alex, but this was a fight that I was expected to win. This is a fight that I was a heavy favorite in. I didn't want to know any of that because I know who Alex is. I've researched him. I was supposed to fight him back in CFFC back in the 2014 before I was signed, and I know how tough he can be. So I was never underestimating him. But in the back of your head, the UFC is going to look at this. You go on a 2-fight losing streak against a guy that lost his debut. I had to come out and put on a strong performance. Now, yes, of course, I want somebody better. I don't know who. Somebody obviously that's coming off a nice win too, and we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it can be hard to call people out at lightweight. There's over 100 fighters in this division.
Yeah, right. I can just close my eyes and go down the list, and I'd be like, God damn, that guy's good. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter. So.
What's like the goal for 2017? This is a perfect way to start. I'm sure it doesn't seem like you have any injuries. You could probably get back in there soon. So is it just fight X amount of times? Do you want to try to put yourself in that top 15? What's your vision for your career by the end of this year?
Going undefeated in 2017, whether it's ranked, unranked, doesn't matter. What the UFC wants is guys that go out there, finish fights, throw down, and put butts in those seats. And that's my plan for 2017. I want people to go, shit, you know what? That Felder guy's fighting. I want to turn on and watch it. And that's something I learned from my boy Cowboy, man. You put butts in those seats, the UFC is going to keep you around. I'm healthy. Get back with Roufusport and Duke, and I want to see who else from the UFC at our gym is fighting. See what Sergio's doing. See what Anthony wants to do eventually. Gerald. If we can get a few of us on the same card whenever they're going, I'll slide back into camp with those guys, I think.